Okay, so Stillmore Vale was kind of a thorn in my side. It was without really looking around, and I leveled my Dreamweaver, um, and I didn't realize that you could change your entry points because originally in Far From Anywhere, I didn't really take into account where your entry point was when I built that dimension. So you actually would enter over off to the side. So when I originally finished that, that's where it would enter. And then it wasn't until I was halfway into this dimension that I learned about the entry point, and so I changed the entry point on that one. But again, very, very expensive items, so I didn't purchase another one for this dimension. So I had to start up really high, and I was trying to like make stairs going down, and I was just using so many items to do that that finally I was like, well, I didn't splurge on an entry point, but I splurged on an elevator. But then it turned out that this elevator, I had already built all of these falls and this platform and everything to come all the way out here. And then when I put the elevator in, it would take you all the way outside of the zone to get over there. So I kept having to push it back and push it back and push it back, and now it comes all the way back here. So it's a little bit awkward to get on the elevator, but after I'd spent all the time putting this feature together, I was like, no way, I'm not moving it. Anyway, you can catch the elevator. And I like the view from behind as you're going over. It shows the falls and the structure, I guess.
I kind of like how it's sunk into
I
the
kind of like
floor.
the elevator.
Yeah, it's an unusual look to it.
Yeah, and I love the bottom of it. It's so cool. Cherry trees are my another one of my favorite dimension items.
Yeah, I have to admit, they're one of my favorite trees in real life. You see a lot of them throughout
You feel?
dimensions, though, so they're definitely a popular item.
Yeah. So I had to use 3 sets of elevators to get down because it's so steep. But
Did a great job on the
this
falls
did a
there.
great thing. This dimension, that the waterfalls was my first. Like I said, I don't pre-plan much, but when I came in here, the waterfall was the only thing that I knew that I wanted to do, and then everything just came as I went along. So here is the house.
Now, what was your inspiration on the house? Did you actually like do some research, look at architecture, or you just started building and went with it?
I just started building and went with it. Like I said, the architectural aspect of it is something that I'm not good at. So even if I saw a structure or a house online that I wanted to recreate, I think that I would have a harder time doing that than just coming up with it from scratch. Um, I try to make sure that things make sense, like it actually looks like, how I put the at the front of the house here. I've got the Bravane pillars that are holding it up because it would be kind of unrealistic to have a house going over that far without those. But I often build things that defy physics, but sometimes I just give up. Um, yeah, so I just kind of did this as I went, and I mean, I don't even know how to explain my process. Like I said, I like trophy items. I think they're some of the prettiest pieces. The trophy items and the reputation items, and of course they should be because those are harder to get than the rest of the items. But so mostly I was just building with the Bravane walls and whatnot, and then just adding on top of that. I like to put detail like in the walls and in the windows and things like that. Um, when I build something that's just flat walls that doesn't have any like breakup in the wall, I feel like I don't know, it just feels very bland to me. So I always try to incorporate at least some sort of at least one part of a breaking point in a wall. I don't like just a plain wall personally. Fireplaces are another thing that I love to build. So here's my fireplace. I'm actually surprised that I don't see as many of this piece, whatever it is. This pillar thing. It's a trophy item, you know, with the green and the blue. I don't remember what it's called either.
I bet Siler would know.
I can look it up. I'm a slowpoke. Lichen brick facade. I mean, I've seen some people use them, but I'm actually surprised that more people don't. I just feel like there's so much color and detail to it, and could be used for so many different things than just the pillars that they are. And my back deck, I ran out of item count. I would have preferred to have built some sort of a barbecue or something out here, but it was one of the last areas that I tackled. And again, my kitchen. I always try to figure out different things to make stoves and refrigerators out of, so I kind of try to, and my cabinetry, I kind of make a concerted effort to use different items in bathrooms and kitchens each time I build, so that they don't all just look like the exact same bathroom and kitchen. I was kind of proud of this little lamp I made here out of the Brevade statues. I don't know why. This reminds me of a desk lamp.
I wouldn't have thought to use them like that. Hey, Siler, I don't think there's that much of a delay on the stream versus what we're doing now. Maybe 15 seconds, I would think.
Again, it's really easy. You know, we don't have much to work with, so a lot of times these types of furniture can be very similar to most other people's. But I try to do something to make it a little bit original each time I build. I hate the idea of the thought of you know, just straight out copying somebody else's work. I love to get inspiration from what other people do, but I would never want to offend somebody and think that I just straight out copied something they did. I'm just like overly concerned about that. It's constantly on my mind, which is probably silly.
No, and I don't think that you're the only one
Again,
that
I
thinks that way either. They really should give the option to like dye materials and stuff that you're using to do builds well.
I would love that. That would be amazing. I love these Bravane pillars, and I knew that I wanted to make kind of the pool part of a fountain out of it, but I didn't realize how extremely black the bottoms are. It's like almost you get lost in the black, so I had to kind of, after I did it, I had to kind of strategically place these vases and plants in the way.
Now, you were using those for the window treatments as well in this build, right?
Yeah, if we go downstairs and go out the door down here, yeah.
It's really pretty.
The bathroom. The bathroom's over here, and I also use those for the tub. My dear husband is much more into grinding rep and questing than I am, especially since I started building right away. Sadly, he actually is the one that leveled my last 10 levels on this gal. We had played Rift at beta and when it first came out, so I did have some level 50s, but he leveled this girl to 60 in hopes that I would actually finally play with him, but I still never did. I went back to Final Fantasy 14. Anyway, he unlocked the rep to get these tapestries for me. Now I force him to get into Rift every once in a while to buy things for me and send them over.
It's how you should
So I
do
use
it.
those a lot. How you should. So this is actually the back door, even though it kind of looks like a front door, but did I lose you?
Yeah, I think I lost you. Oh, there you are.
I'm going through here. Am I taking too much?
Not at all.
This is my secret little romantic picnic area. Most people probably don't see it.
Would you want them to see it? That's the thing.
Oh, and my little swing, which again, lots of people do, but I used to make these a lot in EQ2 as well. I used to try to find as many different things as I could to make swings outside out of.
And those hanging vines are perfect for it.
And then something that I bought on the auction house was this pre-made building structure. Let me look at what it was called. I have to turn. Just... Oh, the Gloamwood House with Arch. And I bought it, and I got it for like 12 plat, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got such an awesome deal on this house. And then I put it in here, and you can't go inside of it. It's like, and I had no use for that. So I turned it upside down, and I just made this a basement. So this is literally an upside down bottom half of a house.
Probably works better as a basement anyways.
I completely agree. So it's my little gardening area. So this is part of my dimension that doesn't really make any sense. I don't really know why I combined a house dimension with this little fairy area over here, but um, I loved my little fairy that I made in my daughter's room so much that I was like, I need to make a little fairy village. So the other half of this dim isn't cohesive at all, but that's okay.
I love it. You got like little hobbit
I
holes
love.
here.
Yeah, those are just the mossy houses sunken in.
You got great views from up here.
Yeah, thanks. That the structure for the elevators coming down was my attempt at being creative with those, but most of them ended up being covered up anyway. But I spent so much time on that thing, it's not even funny, and you barely notice it in the dimension now. That's okay.
Now Siler's saying, as they say, it's your dimension, you build what you want. And Poppy says the fairies are so cute.
Thank you. All right, that's it for this one.
Okay, where to next?